special show on ET Now. I am Ruchi Bhatia. I'm fully vaccinated and extremely excited to do the first physical show from outside the confines of my house. In fact, I'm here at Mall of India and I'm here to give you a sneak peek into what the festive season really holds for mall owners, to retailers and for restaurants as well. Let's take a look. Season in India usually accounts for 30 to 40% of the annual sales for shopping malls and retailers. So is revenge shopping really a thing? Let's talk about that in detail. Joining us today on ET Now is Ms. Pushpa Bector of DLF Malls. Ms. Bector, appreciate you taking your time out and speaking with us today at ET Now. I want to first begin by asking you on after 2 waves of COVID-19, what is your assessment of where things are with respect to demand?
You know what, we're standing at Mall of India. It's one of the largest properties in the country, and I can tell you this, that the consumer confidence is back. And we are very, very happy to see that from August until September and now running into October, the sales that we are seeing in all the stores is more than positive. And we do believe that it's not purely revenge shopping,
Right.
It's beyond that. People have experienced online shopping, people
Right.
have experienced offline shopping, they've understood what they miss in offline shopping, so that experiential retailing that we have been at DLF malls investing so much in is, I think, paying great dividends.
So I, you know, because you're saying that we are seeing a good recovery coming
Yes.
in. Of course, the wedding season is going to kickstart
Yes.
very soon. Is the kind of demand that we're seeing restricted to metros because we're seeing the pace of vaccination picking up in metros in a big way, or are you seeing this kind of recovery in tier 2, tier 3 cities as well?
So it's a mixed bag there. So what we've seen is that in the tier 1 cities, especially Delhi NCR, we are 70% now double vaccinated. In DLF malls especially, we've gone over 90% double vaccinated
Right.
by end October. So that will really propel a lot of consumer confidence. We in DLF, we took that initiative to vaccinate the retail staff and the staff within our portfolio. That also, aided to the fact that there was consumer confidence. In tier 2 cities, what I see is that high streets have picked up far more, and my retailer friends have been telling me that high streets have picked up there. Now malls are picking up. So I think in the tier 1 cities, the malls took the lead, especially after second wave, and tier 2 probably it will follow through.
Since you're saying that revenge shopping is, it's here to stay, right?
Yeah.
It's not just revenge shopping, there's much more to it.
Yes.
I want to understand from you, have the shopping lists gone longer? Are people spending as much time as they used to earlier in the malls? Because malls used to be a place where we would come, for leisure, watch a movie, eat, shop. Is all of it really back?
Well, we're standing here. What happens is that the spend per footfall, the footfall has come up to around, say, 70% of previous levels, which is 1920. But the spends on the sales has gone above 90%. And what that really tells, and this I'm giving you portfolio-wide average numbers. Few brands have done far beyond. Luxury has gone far beyond 1920 because international travel is restricted. So people are really enjoying the domestic consumption of luxury, understanding what's available here and how current it is. And so that's a different story altogether. But when I look at a portfolio level trend, yes, people are spending more. They're also sort of looking at, planning their shopping better.
Right.
They plan and they come in, they browse online. I think that's here to stay, which is great for us because then the consumer comes in with a clear agenda of what to buy.
Right.
And so I see the spend per footfall. That's the barometer that we look at. It's almost doubled in few categories, like athleisure, etc. It's doubled. So it just means that consumers plan better, they come in better, but the duration of stay is still around hour and a half. Yes, cinemas have just about opened.
Absolutely.
Now, when it comes to cinemas, the occupancy today is around 12 to 15%. Usually it's around 35 to 40%. I guess that will take a good 7-8 months to gain full traction because cinemas are going to need very large releases. The
Right.
recent James Bond movie did a great job of that. So I think a few more of such will get back the confidence there. Then the sticky situation in all our retail properties will improve. So what a cinema does is the frequency of people coming in increases, and hence they also shop along with that. So today we're looking at again a 1.5 to 2 hour sticky time within a property, and that stays. But when the cinemas also come up, it will go up by another hour.
So this could be, in that sense, an important moment for
Of course.
malls as well.
Of course.
I also want to understand from you, because we're, of course, we can see behind us, Pushpa, great work that's being put in to increase consumer engagement as well. And if we can just walk and take a look around the mall, there's so much that DLF Malls is doing to increase consumer engagement as well. What would be the next few steps that you would take? Of course, one is that you're hoping that the cinema halls will really pick up. But besides that, what kind of next few steps in terms of consumer engagement?
So for this season, that's a lovely question. For this season, what we feel is that we need to create the consumer confidence on what they missed when they were at home in a lockdown. So as you can see, there's a beautiful wedding tales concept that's come up here. We are trying to encourage people by giving service. So a person can come in, there is a stylist in-house, the person can really engage with the stylist and ensure how they can shop for the entire trousseau without the bother. So again, planning the shopping and aiding that planning in the shopping experience is one of our key elements that we are doing. So be it here at Mall of India or at Promenade, wedding is a key. We're launching a beautiful service at Emporio called the Wedding Concierge, which will also further aid to that whole experience of planning your wedding and taking the bother away, at the same time ensuring that they're all safe and secure. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, of course, that we think that this season is going to bring back the consumer in terms of both footfall and sales in a big way. So all our properties are fully geared on just not double vaccination, which is our huge agenda at this point. Along with that, we're also looking at creating engagements, be it styling engagements, be it at Avenue. We got 30 new restaurants opening. So, the engagement has increased.
So Pushpa, we did see a lot of retailers opt for the omni-channel approach during the pandemic. Now that things are opening up, how important will in-store presence be, and how are stores looking to marry the digital adoption with, of course, being physically present as well?
Well, no, as I said, that we at DLF have understood that people are going to be browsing. People will want to aid their, in terms of styling, etc. They will need that service before they come across and when they are at the property. So what we did is we launched a project called Lookout. Lookout is an app which is an all-encompassing app for all the properties of DLF, and a consumer can actually look at the latest styles. We've created a curated style platform, and you will see more and more of that, because we want people to engage with us before they enter the property. So technology is going to be staying. In fact, it will only improve. We're looking at launching a loyalty program through that Lookout app, which will also give them the omni-channel benefit. So I do believe technology is here to stay. Having said that, what are the retailers doing? So retailers are also looking at omni-channel in a big way, as you know. So many people, like Zara, for example, has got a clear option of pick up from the store or pick up, home delivered. And many consumers are opting for picking up from the store because it's a last mile connectivity. It gives them a reason to step out, and also they end up buying some things more, So I believe omni-channel as an experience is here to stay, and last mile connectivity is also here to stay. So in technology and malls are, I think they're going to be wedded for a very long time.
All right, on that note, Pushpa, many thanks for speaking with us today, and here's hoping that you have a bumper festive season ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the conversation that we had with DLF Malls here. Let's also talk about how millions of food lovers are getting back to restaurants in a big way. And we're going to be taking that conversation forward with Ankit Mehrotra of Dineout. He's the co-founder of Dineout. So let's take it with him. Hi, Ankit.
Hi,
thank you very much for giving your time out and
Thanks for having me over.
And speaking with us today at ET Now. I'm going to first begin by asking you on your assessment of where things are headed in terms of demand and how do you see this recovery really taking shape?
You know, I think the last few months, especially after the unlock part 2 or the unlock phase 2 has been really phenomenal. What is driving this phenomena, and especially dining out, like, you know, people have been sort of in their houses for the last 18 months. They have, you know, they've been sort of not doing anything, not going out. And now we see this trend that we call revenge consumption, where people are now coming out of their house in droves. And I think the two main factors driving this is one, that more and more people are now vaccinated. So that's sort of definitely helping. And the second is that when we look at the overall demographic sort of environment, right, you know, people are not sort of going out to watch cinema, people are not going out traveling, and then dining out at a restaurant gives them that closer sense of normalcy to the pre-COVID times.
Right.
So we're seeing this huge explosion in people stepping out of their houses and going to restaurants to eat out.
So is this, Ankit, you know, the demand that you're seeing restricted to the metros, or are you seeing this big bump up in the tier 2, tier 3 cities as well?
No, I think this is a pan-India phenomena. So, you know, what's happened is that while people in metros were already going out enough, a lot of the normal pub, you know, sort of the people have actually gone back to their hometowns in this entire work from home environment. And as a result, people from Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore who've now gone back to their hometowns, they want that similar sort of experience. So we're seeing some great trends in tier 2 cities where, in fact, in tier 2 cities like, let's say, Lucknow, Chandigarh, Indore, Kanpur, we're seeing his huge resurgence in dining out, where according to our numbers, around 30% more people are dining out as compared to pre-COVID. And if I look at, let's say, the month of September that just went by, overall dining out activity was approximately 1.5 times pre-COVID. So we're seeing this huge resurgence in people sort of stepping out of their houses and wanting to dine out. An average consumer who was dining out, let's say, twice a month pre-COVID is now dining out like 5 or 6 times.
And I will be, you know, asking you on that as well. So you're basically telling us that the Lucknows and the Ludhianas and the Agras of the world are doing much better than the Delhis and the Bombays. Having said that, are you seeing a rise in the average money that a consumer was spending at a restaurant earlier vis-a-vis now as well?
Absolutely. So what has happened is, again, you know, now people are wanting to sort of go out to restaurants, they're wanting to sort of splurge a little bit more, they're wanting to go out to better quality restaurants. So the average ticket value on the Dineout platform has grown up by nearly 30%. An average bill value of 2,000 rupees earlier is now around 2,600, 2,700. And this is a phenomena which is not just restricted to Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, it's happening all across the country. So people are dining out a lot more, people are dining out at better quality restaurants, and even when they're dining out, they're splurging a lot more, they're experimenting, they're trying new things. Because I think, again, it all goes back to the whole revenge consumption sort of a thing, you know. People also have a lot more disposable income, like, you know, work from home environment, probably you're not spending enough, as much money on traveling or on clothes. So where do you spend? You spend on experiences. And for us, the whole theme is around experiences. So it's not just dining out, we are actually seeing a lot of uptake in events as well. So we are organized a lot of events like comedy nights at restaurants or music tours, etc. And we're seeing packed houses everywhere. So people are definitely out there in droves.
And you're telling me this is happening even though the capacity at restaurants is just about 50% right now in various cities.
And exactly, that's the reason why people are now using platforms like Dineout a lot more, because they want to reserve in advance, because now a restaurant is operating at 50 to 70% capacity, right?
I've been trying to get to, you know, my favorite restaurant over the weekend at Khan Market, and there's absolutely no space.
Absolutely, everything is packed right now, and the trend has become that now people don't want to wait outside anymore. So now we're seeing, like, pre-COVID, people used to book like maybe a day in advance. Now people are planning like 3-4 days in advance and booking their restaurants, because now, you know, you have to gather friends, everything. So it's become a lot more organized, I would say, from that perspective, where people are taking the time out to plan their evenings because they want to have a good time. They've been sort of, you know, no one wants to just get to a restaurant and wait outside and spoil their evening. They want to maximize, and as a result, people are planning and sort of reserving a lot more.
Ankit, I also want to understand from you on some of the top trends that you're seeing
Sure.
as people are of course thronging the
Yeah.
restaurants and the malls and the movie theaters a
Yeah.
lot more. What are the top trends that you're seeing at Dineout?
See, there are a few things that we are seeing, but I think the two things that stand out the most is that people are now going out in larger groups. So as pre-COVID, average group size for reservation was around 3 to 4. Now that's gone up to like 7 or 8. And the main reason for that is, see, again, for the last 18 months, people have been sort of in their houses by themselves. There's in the current scenario, not everyone's returned back to work as well. So dining out has now become a lot more social. Like people are treating it as a way to catch up with friends, families, colleagues, etc. So that's one trend that we're seeing. The other very important trend that we're seeing is that lunch hours have all of a sudden zoomed up. Like earlier pre-COVID, lunch used to constitute around.
Is lunch the new dinner?
Yes, absolutely. That's a great way to put it. See, because people, this entire work from home environment has given everyone a lot more flexibility, right? So people can now step out of their houses, take an hour off here and there, go meet people. So just to put it in numbers, pre-COVID, lunch hours overall used to constitute around 25 to 30% of the overall traffic in a day. Now it's up to 45%. So we're seeing this huge trend in people sort of wanting to step out of the house during lunch and meet for casual and a lot of the work meetings as well, right? Because now you're no longer
And offices
are also slowly opening up. So people are taking the time out to go catch up with friends, colleagues, etc. So I think it's interesting times, and I think dining out now is probably going to we're actually seeing a huge boom, but in the next sort of 12 to 18 months, it's going to be massive. I think more and more, everyone's going to be probably looking to dine out.
Are we looking at the 2021 and 22 to be probably surpassing the 2018-2019 levels?
Absolutely. So, and this is very heartening for me to say because the last 2 years have been really difficult for the restaurant industry overall. We've never had a situation in the history of the world where restaurants got completely shut down. So it was completely unprecedented, caught everyone by surprise. We had nearly 25-30% restaurants shut down.
Right.
But now, I think the worst is probably behind us with more and more people being vaccinated, staffs being vaccinated, etc. I think next 12 to 18 months is definitely going to be the boom of the restaurant industry. And more so because, the way we look at it and the way we're seeing trends, people are still not traveling for leisure as much. Business trips have reduced. So again, dining out gives people that sense of normalcy as compared to a pre-COVID era.
All right, Ankit, thank you very much for taking your time out and speaking with us. So yes, revenge eating is really a thing. Let's talk about where things are headed for the consumer durable space as well. Are people buying more electronics, more mobiles, more TVs? In conversation with us is Mr. Nilesh Gupta at Vijay Sales. Mr. Gupta, I appreciate you taking your time out and speaking with us today at ET Now. I want to first begin by asking you on what your assessment is of where things are headed in this festive season with respect to demand. Of course, more than half of the country is already vaccinated. Besides that, the consumer confidence seems to be reviving. Are you hoping for a bumper festive season ahead?
I think this festival season is going to be one of the best in the last 3 to 4 years. So I'm not talking of the 2 festive seasons which we lost out due to pandemic, but even the one prior to that. And the reason for my positivity is that what we have seen in the last 2-3 months also, the sales have really picked up, especially in the consumer durable segment. And I think a lot of people could not travel. I think they've saved money and they are in the mood to actually, you can say, a sort of revenge buying also, or sort of making goods for something which have been lost, and they are buying goods. So I think this year, this festive season will be one of the best seasons we have ever seen.
That's very heartening to know. In terms of quantum, with respect to how much people were spending earlier vis-a-vis now, are you also seeing a jump in the ticket size in terms of what people are spending?
So as far as ticket size is concerned, in consumer durable, it has gone up considerably. In the last 2 years, even after the first pandemic, it went up, and now after the second wave, also it went up. The primary reason being is people were always stationed at home, and the entire family was locked up in the home. So they realized, apart from themselves, each other, the only support they had was from consumer durables. So now whenever they buy consumer durables, they are buying the best. What we have seen is the ASPs, the average ticket price of each and every product has gone up nearly to 20-25%, partly because there's been a price hike of nearly 10 to 15%, and 10 to 15% people are upgrading themselves. So like for example, I'll give you in laptops, what we saw last year when people bought laptops, they were buying entry level because they felt in the next 3 to 4 months, the schools will open and they may not have any use of the laptops. But since the pandemic extended such long, even people who had bought last year, they came back and they said, this laptop is not being of much use because we never knew it. And we took the basic one and now we want the most upgraded ones. And the ones who are buying now, they're all looking for, nobody's talking of the lower end processors. Everybody's wanting higher processors, more memory space, and a larger screen size. So and the same thing is true in other categories. Whether you take it televisions, people are wanting large screen size. Whether you take refrigerators, washing machines, everybody wants a bigger size. Dishwasher, again, it's a category which has got created due to pandemic. Yes, we are not seeing as much sale what we saw post first round of pandemic, but still the category has got established. So in a nutshell, the average ticket price and the buying, consumer buying has actually gone up by nearly, I would say 25 to 30%.
Mr. Gupta, we're also speaking at a time where we're seeing, because of the festive season, you would have stocked up a lot more electronics, mobile phones, TVs, and much more as well. In terms of categories, where are you seeing bulk of the demand really coming in from?
The best part is we expect all the categories to fire, except you can say one of the categories which may not do so well is air conditioners because the season is not there. Otherwise, we expect all the other categories to fire very well, be it laptops, be it mobiles, be it refrigerators, be it washing machines and televisions. Especially, we expect a big firing to happen because people are all looking out for no longer 43 and 32 inches. They're all looking for 55, 65 and even 75 inches televisions. So I think this is going to be a very good time for consumer durable industry. And all the categories should be firing very well, what we have seen the trends till now.
Talk to us about the geographical mix. Are you seeing the demand really coming in from the metros, or is Bharat or tier 2, tier 3 cities really driving up and pumping up the demand this time around?
So I think demand is pan-India is similar. The ratio may be a little more or a little less, or the products which people are buying in metros may differ from what they are buying in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But overall, the mood is upbeat. And I think this year, if you see 45 days before or 60 days before, everybody was fearful of the third wave. Now, with the way the vaccination has taken place and the third wave or any other wave is not seeming, touch wood, to happen in the country. And I think more or less 75 to 80% COVID, at least in India, is behind us. I think that itself is a very big euphoria for all the people to come out and start buying. And that's what we are seeing it over here. Because now people feel the good times are back.